Changing an image to black and white and leaving a bit of color in it is something which gets asked by all my clients, and of course all photographers want to know how to do this. There's a couple of different ways of doing it. I'm going to take you through two different ways of doing it, using two different sets of tools. Firstly, let's go and open up and bring an image in, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Firstly, let's see where we at. That's okay. Just going to get the image. I've got one in here, and this is an image taken in the UK of Big Ben in the background, as you can see, with big red telephone box in front. So the whole idea then is the telephone box and anything that's red in the image will stay, and then the rest of it will go into black and white. Now there's a couple of different ways of doing it, like I said, but I'm going to do what's appropriate for this one, and then the next one you'll see another tool. So this one, first of all, what I would do first of all, over here on the right hand side where I've got the layers, I would duplicate the layer, as I always do. There's the duplication, and then on the duplicated one, which is layer 1, what I would then do is go up to select color range. Now what this does is whatever color I tell it, it's going to isolate that color. So obviously the red is what I'm after. As you can see, it shows it to you on the window here. But the red is certainly the color. Here we go. I'm just making sure that it's all nice and clean. It looks clean. And off I go and then say OK. Now once you do that, the red color around, or the red in the image, is now selected, as you can see. So if I do a Control J at this point, which is basically to duplicate what's selected, the telephone box and all its bits and pieces around it is going to be isolated on a layer on its own. So here we go. Control J. If you look over here, there's the telephone box on its own. If I take off the visibility, you'll see that. So with that there, all I now need to do is change this layer, which is my layer 1, to black and white. Easiest way to do that, I suppose, would be to go in here to layer adjustment tools and come in and go black and white. Automatically then changes it, and because it is using the adjustment tool, we can change the blues, for instance. So we can make the blues deeper if we wanted to, or make it brighter. So your call on this one. Either way, the solution is there. It's all up and done. Hope you like it. That works well. That's the first one. I'll leave that one there. Now I'll bring in my second image. So that's the first way. So let me just run back through that again. Duplicate your layer, select tool, come down to color range, and basically then the color range will ask you which color basically you want to isolate. In my case, I want to isolate the red. Isolate the red. Ask it to then do a Control J, which is to copy what's been selected in layer 1, and that gives you that. And then change layer 1 into black and white. Hope that makes sense. Let's go into the second way of doing it. So I'm going to open up again. And the second image now, this is taken at Taronga Zoo. And what the intention here then is to for the giraffes to be left in color and then the background to be in black and white. Using a different tool this time, what I'm going to do is use the polygonal tool. I suppose is probably the easiest one to use, or the magnetic lasso. Let's go magnetic lasso to start with. So I'm going to start from here. Once again, I'm going to duplicate the image. So I've now got two layers, and with that lasso tool, I'm going to click on it here and just follow it up nicely. Now I'm not actually clicking, because it's a magnetic tool. It's just hugging to the edges because the edges are nice and defined. If you had an edge that wasn't defined, then you may want to use maybe the lasso tool where you do it freehand, or the pen tool, of course. So I'm up here, happy with that. Just click once just to make sure because I'm turning the corner. And when it gets a bit tricky, just do a couple of clicks and that will help you. Okay, I'm doing there. And again. And alright, so just to be funny, I'm just going to do the one giraffe. Saves a bit of time as well. And here I go, coming around here, and then coming finally down his leg here, or hers. Here we go. Now come out onto here, because I want to come up here, and this bit here, and you've got to come back to where you started on these tools, and click, and there you go. So the selection is now made, and like the last one, I'll do exactly the same thing again. I'll do a Control J, which then isolates the giraffe on its own layer there, so therefore this layer is left alone. And again, I'll come to the adjustable layers down here, press black and white, and there you go. Alright, and once again, I've got the availability. There's some yellow in this shot for sure, so you could darken it if you want to, or what other colours are in here? Blue maybe, not too much blue. Red's definitely in there, so we can come in like that. So again, to your taste, you would adjust that just to make it work. Yes, I know I've got some bits here, and you can always come in here and do the same thing here. Just isolate this piece here, right, to expose it underneath. So there's a whole bunch of different ways of being able to do that. But generally speaking, that's how you get some color into a black and white shot, or making a black and white shot and leaving some color in. Hope this all makes sense. I hope it works for you. See you in the next one.